The primary point of emphasis for the Celtics heading into their opening night matchup against the Sixers, and the primary cause of anxiety for Celtics fans, was how are they going to stop Joel Embiid? Whether it was preventing those beastly post-ups, keeping him off the glass, limiting his free throws, or defending that deadly Harden-Embiid pick and roll, there's a lot to be worried about. Well, fortunately, the Celtics had a really sophisticated approach to this, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Let's take a look at some Celtics defensive possessions involving Embiid, and we're going to see a couple of different things here. Systematic team defense, as in 5 players all simultaneously playing a role in making life difficult for Joel Embiid. So standing in passing lanes, taking away options, perfectly timed help, and some incredible individual defense, or as good as you can hope for against a guy like Embiid. Let's start with Embiid's 6 turnovers in this game, and you'll see how the first 5 of those turnovers lead him to cough up the 6 out of pure fatigue and frustration. I think this first possession is somewhat of an anomaly. I don't really know what Embiid's doing here. Tatum and Smart do a great job of closing that driving lane at the last second, but this does open up several pass options for Embiid, but instead, he gathers 1 step behind the free throw line, not really in control of the ball, so Smart's able to strip him and the Celtics score in transition. There's a bit more defensive meat on the bones in this second possession. Philly runs some action to get Embiid posting up on the weak side, while Vonleh's done a solid job holding his ground, so Embiid receives the ball well outside of the paint. Now, Vonleh is funneling Embiid towards the middle of the court, towards more defenders. Tatum is prepared to bring the double while also positioned to recover out to Maxey, and Jalen and Horford are ready there to rotate if Tatum has to come and help. Horford jumps right into the paint there to stop the cutter, and then right as Embiid starts his drive, Tatum stunts hard and strips the ball. And of course, Tatum could anticipate this because of how Vonleh was positioned on Embiid. Great stuff. Oh look, Embiid has Smart posted up on an island. Let's get him the ball. I mentioned there would be some incredible individual defense, and I'm choosing to put this under that category. Did Smart embellish the contact? Of course he did. Did it result in Boston gaining possession? Yes, and that's all that matters. Moving on. Horford does an awesome job here, forcing Embiid to receive the ball pretty far out. Now, sending help from 1 pass away and off of James Harden is generally not recommended, but Jalen waits until Embiid is facing up towards the basket before timing his help perfectly, coming over to strip Embiid before he can make his move. The Jays must have watched so much film on Joel Embiid at this point in their careers, and it really shows. We saw it on those last 2 plays. The timing on the help defense is legitimately perfect. Scary situation here. The very large Joel Embiid has the not nearly as large Noah Vonleh posted up all alone on the weak side. Embiid tries to counter what happened on that last Vonleh post-up. He spins baseline away from the Celtics defenders, and Vonleh does just an incredible job holding his position here. This is huge. Tatum and Brogdon are there to prevent that spin back into the paint, but Vonleh just locks up that baseline all on his own. Meanwhile, the second Embiid turns around to pass out, Tatum just appears right in his face. Perfect timing, again, turnover. All of which leads to Embiid's 6th turnover. 4th quarter, exhausted from being expertly harangued by the Celtics defense all night, and just pisses the ball away here. Because at this point, he's just weakened. It's basically the same level of athleticism as Mr. Burns bowling. A few more possessions here, and here's that potent Harden-Embiid pick and roll run right in the middle of the court. Derek White does well to get over the screen and get back on Harden's hip. And look what Harden and Embiid see as they start coming downhill. A well-positioned wall of Celtics defenders. We've got Vonleh in drop to prevent that hard roll from Embiid, and then Tatum and Brown 1 foot in the paint but still in position to recover on Maxey and Tucker. And then Derek White ends up recovering so well to the point where he cuts off that passing lane between Harden and Embiid. And while Harden does well to find Tucker in the corner there, Smart is basically already there on the catch. I mean, this is supposed to be maybe the most dangerous pick and roll tandem in the league, and probably will be as the season rolls along, but Boston just nullified this all game. This time off to the weak side, which from Philly's perspective you think, okay, less opportunities for the Celtics to send help, sounds good. But again, great job chasing Harden over the screen. Are Embiid's screens just weak as fuck? I don't know. Embiid finds himself back in the Noah Vonleh defensive torture chamber, and again, Tatum with the help. Tobias Harris is a more than decent 3-point shooter, but it's all about the timing here. He waits right until Embiid makes his move and when Harris is essentially out of his sightline. Vonleh does another great job applying his own resistance here, and for the second time in this video, Tatum is just right there as soon as Embiid turns around. I think a mid-season form Embiid probably finishes that layup, and I also think that if he wasn't so in his head about the double team coming, about the help coming, if he were just a little bit more patient, he could have found Harris here and put him in a position to score. That's it for this video. There were plenty of other possessions we could have used, but we wanted to keep this one relatively short. If you enjoyed this one, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We've got video breakdowns, podcasts, interviews. We're chock full of content and oh so close to 1,000 subscribers. Until next time, go Celtics.